22 hours GMT here in Accra. This is News at 10 from the News Hub at Adesawe Kanda in Accra. Also live on DSTV channel 279. My name is Grace Hamwa Asari. We're live on DSTV channel 279. Let's begin with a look at the news highlights. Two persons, a husband and mother, are reported dead at the Donkokrom Presbyterian Hospital after allegedly consuming puffer fish and fufu at Abontanse, a village near Donkokrom in the Kou-Afram Plains North District of the Eastern Region. 4 persons are currently on admission at the Donkokrom Presbyterian Health Facility upon consuming same fish. Away from that, farming activities continue along the banks of the White Volta in spite of warnings from NADMO about the impending spillage of water from the Bagri Dam. Our Upper East Regional Correspondent Tanko Mohammed Rebu visited the area and has come up with this report and has been telling us more about it. Artisanal fishermen in the Volta region, after a 2-day of consultative meeting in Keta and Adina, have resolved that effective Saturday, September 1, anyone who engages in illegal, unregulated and unreported fishing activities along the Volta Marine Zone will be dealt with by law. Again, no fishing activities are to be conducted on Saturdays and Sundays of every week effective September 1. On the international front, Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire have launched a joint project to replant 780,000 hectares of diseased cocoa farms in the 2 leading cocoa economies of the world. The 2 countries are sourcing $1.2 billion from the African Development Bank to undertake the project geared towards increasing yield. Also, Zimbabwe's main opposition leader has refused to accept a court ruling upholding Emmerson Mnangagwa's win in last month's presidential elections. Nelson Chamisa said he had a legitimate claim to lead the country and will lead peaceful protest. His MDC Alliance party has alleged fraud, but on Friday, the Constitutional Court said it had no evidence. Many thanks for joining us. We are live on our various social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Let's do some stories. Our first story, and Ghana Investment Fund for Electronic Communications is an agency under the Ministry of Communications. It is mandated to bridge the digital divide between the served and underserved communities in Ghana. Ghana Investment Fund for Electronic Communication, GIVIC, exists to provide financial resources for the establishment of universal service and access for all communities. GIVIC facilitates the provision of basic telephony, internet, multimedia, broadband, and broadcasting services to these communities. GIVIC is targeting 95% rural access to phone services by 2019. Joining me in the studio is Chief Executive Officer of GIVIC, Abraham Kofi Asante. So we talk a lot more on the GIVIC discussion. Good evening to you, sir.
Good evening.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
GIVIC is targeting 95% rural access to phone by end of 2019. Yes. What is the step so far? How far has it gone?
Yeah, GIVIC has, we have done a survey across the country, and we have identified about 3,000 communities that are not connected by way of telephony. And therefore, through our partnership arrangements with the telcos and also with investors, we have now adopted a Rural Star technology, an innovative technology, which we deploying across the country in these underserved and unserved communities. Let me indicate that in 2017 alone, we were able to deploy 180 sites. Hitherto, for the past 8 years, from 2009 to 2016, only 78 of such were done. So we have had an innovative arrangement or partnership where we are going faster. And for what we deployed this year, we've been able to cover, for now, about 600 communities.
Okay.
And we are looking forward that in 2019, we'll deploy more. And our focus is that if you're able to deploy about 600 sites, then we'll cover about 3,000. So in 2018, as I talk to you now, we have deployed a set of 200.
Okay.
We hope to go further to about 300, and in 2019, do the 95%. The expectation is that if we're able to cover the 95%, then we'll look at avenues of increasing to have a total coverage.
Okay, so we also know that you've introduced a Coding for Kids program. What is it about, and how safe is this program? Because recently we're having issues of the internet not being very safe for children. How safe is this program, and what is it really about?
We have developed Coding for Kids, and we have tried it in about 6 districts across the country, in Greater Accra, in Western region, and then in some parts of Ashanti region. It is supposed to provide for the kids. It's supposed to provide for the kids some training for them to be equipped with programming skills. And what we're doing here is that, you know, when children are training coding, it makes them have very high IQ.
Okay.
It gives them the ability for them to be more organized. So this year we trained 150 teachers, and these 150 teachers are supposed to form clubs in their schools. Each one is supposed to have 30, and so that by the end of the year we'll be able to turn out 4,500 kids in coding. We're hoping that this will serve as a way of developing the human resource needed in the area of ICT. We want to whip up their interest whilst they are young, and then be able to have the human resource that we need. So
are these schools only in the Greater Accra region, or they're scattered across the country?
They are scattered across the country. We have Greater Accra, we have Western region, and then we have Ashanti region. That is for the start. In the next half of the last quarter of the year, we're going to look at the other regions as well. But we need to monitor, because for any project that we do, we start with a baseline. Yes,
I was coming to the bit about monitoring. We know it is a challenge in the country. We start beautiful projects, but monitoring is a challenge. What are the specific measures you are introducing so you're able to measure these projects?
Yeah, GIFEC has a partnership unit, Partnership and Sustainability Unit, which has also got the monitoring and evaluation unit within it. What we do for every project that we embark upon is first to draw a baseline. We do a baseline survey to know what the situation is. And then periodically, we do our monitoring based on the targets that we have set for ourselves. And this is what we use to look at the improvements that we need to establish for our projects. So we are using the various principles that are adopted in project management to execute all the things that we do. That is how GIFEC is carrying out our project implementation.
The Communications Minister is suspected to tour the Ashanti region, some of your projects in that region in the coming days. What is the tour about? What projects specifically is she inspecting?
Yeah, you know, GIFEC is involved in a lot of projects. We do rural telephony projects. We have cyber lab projects. We have schools connectivity projects. We have smart community projects. We have digital for inclusion projects. We are also in charge of the emergency call center projects. And currently, we also want to do the government-citizen relationship project, which is the 311. What the minister is going to do next week is to inspect some of the projects that have been completed and those that are ongoing in the Asante Achim South District, Bekwai Municipality, and also in the Central District. And so we'll be going to places like Polisikrom to look at the rural telephony project there. Ejadem, we'll go to that, and then Kokotro. We'll also visit places where some of the projects have been abandoned. Some of the CIC projects that were started some years ago were abandoned. So when we assume office, there's a need for us to look at the level of deterioration and look at the interventions that we have to do. So the minister will be touring Ashanti region specifically and to these districts to look at progress of work and look at what we need, the interventions that we need to turn around some of the projects that have been in very deplorable states.
Great. Thank you very much for joining us, and we wish GFEC and the entire team all the best in executing the other projects of your various projects. I've been speaking with Chief Executive Officer of GFEC. He is Abraham Kofi Asante. You're still watching News at 10 on TV3. We are also live on DSTV channel 279. We're back with some more stories after this break. Don't go away. Welcome back. You're also watching News at 10 on TV3, also live on DSTV channel 279. Two persons, a husband and mother, are reported dead at the Donkokrom Presbyterian Hospital after allegedly consuming puffer fish and fufu at Abotanase, a village near Donkokrom in the Kwewu Afram Plains North Districts of the Eastern Region. 4 persons are currently on admission at the Donkokrom Presbyterian Health Facility upon consuming same fish.
From the medical superintendent of the Donkokrom Presbyterian Hospital, Dr. Ziblim Kasule, that about 1 a.m. to 1:30 a.m. Friday, August 24, 2018, 4 persons, including 2 children, were brought to the facility. Checks reveal they had abdominal pains and have been vomiting from 11 a.m. after eating fufu and soup prepared with puffer fish, which contain a poisonous substance. According to Dr. Ziblim, the 4 at the facility have paralysis and weak limb and are unable to walk unless aided. The 2 kids are, however, recovering. 2 others, a husband and his mother, who were brought to the facility dead, were brought in from a prayer camp where they were first sent to when the incident occurred. The woman went to the Donkokrom market on Thursday to purchase the puffer fish. The Kwewu Afram Plains North Public Health Directorate and the police are currently investigating the matter.
Let's stay a while longer on this issue because a medical practitioner at the Presbyterian Hospital in Donkokrom in the Eastern Region, Dr. Ziblim Kaule, has stated that has cautioned the public against eating puffer fish.
We understand some 2 people have lost their lives after consuming some kind of poisonous fish. Can you tell us exactly what happened?
This patients that we're talking about, they came in, they were brought in at about between the hours of 1 and 1:30 a.m. That's as at yesterday, that's on Friday. And then from information that we got from the people that brought them, this was a family of 6. The mother went to the market, got some fish, and then prepared fufu with soup, which all 6 family members ate. But later on in the evening, they had gone to bed, and the husband called the wife that something was happening to him. So the wife tried to get up and go help, but as she got there, well, she also couldn't move. So she quickly also called other people. They took her to the prayer camp. Somebody went back to go and inquire as to what was happening in the house. They found out that the other family members also had the same problem. So they quickly rushed them to our facility. Then we attended to them as we were required to. We later had information that 2 other people had died. They were part of those who ate the food. They had died in the community. The police were alerted. We quickly also alerted the public health. So they came over, and then investigations began. The police brought the bodies from the village into our morgue. Currently, they are there. We haven't performed any autopsy yet since it's a coroner's case. Certain things would have to be done. The police would have to give us the necessary permission to go ahead. So nothing has been done on the dead bodies yet. But as I speak to you currently, the kids are doing very well. They are walking, eating, they are talking. There's no problem currently with the kids. The problem now has to do with the mother and then his father. The father is an aged man. I later realized, I asked from sources from the woman, and then she says the father is about 100 plus. She is in her 30s. She is currently responding to treatment. The father also is. Just that they still have weak limbs. They are not able to walk, but then they are moving their limbs okay. It's just that they don't have the strength to walk. They have to be aided.
Right. So, Dr. Kasule, so are you able to share with us what kind of fish is it? Is it a puffer fish or catfish?
From our sources, it was a buffer fish study, and that is what has caused this currently.
Is the warning not clear enough for people to avoid eating the puffer fish if that is what is now causing the death of people?
From the aspect of the hospital, we would really have to liaise with the public health and then tell them as to what we have seen, and then per that they would also go ahead and then inform the community. It is not our responsibility currently to do that. That is that of the public health team. So I'm sure they have started doing their investigations, and I'm sure they would expedite their investigation and then go on to the community and then inform the community as to what.
Farming activity continues along the banks of the White Volta in spite of warnings from NADMO about the impending spillage of water from the Bagri Dam. Our East Regional Correspondent Tanko Mohammed Rebu visited the area and has come up with this report.
Although some farmers are aware the Bagri Dam is being spilled, farming is ongoing unabated. Farmers are still going about their work along the White Volta, specifically Palugu in the Talensi district of the Upper East region. Some farmers are harvesting what they can salvage, while others were still clearing weeds. About 65% of the crops in these farms have already been submerged by the rainwater, while the rest are feared destroyed by the Bagri spillage. Banyana has been farming along the White Volta for about 2 decades. He said he is aware of the spillage of the dam, but will still farm here. He has, however, evacuated his family upland for safety. A resident of Kwalugu community proposed the construction of a dam that will harvest the Bagri Dam water anytime there is a spillage.
Ghana government said they are going to do one village, one dam. And I think they should take advantage of that one to also construct another dam that will look like that one, so that all the water that is coming that way, which spoils people farm and then the other activities that they do here, then they can collect that water for our future use, so that it will even reserve for those that we are using only one season for the farming, then it could be what, twice.
Away from that, the Esutufi South District in Brongahafo is noted for high cocoa production, and this has made the district a major beneficiary of the Cocoa Roads construction program. What is, however, hindering the construction of one of the cocoa roads in the area is a bridge over the River Tano that has collapsed. A report by Larry Pakwesi Moses.
The wooden bridge over the river links communities in the Esutufi South and the Sunafo South districts. The old weak bridge was displaced by the strong currents of the river 3 months ago. This has virtually cut off all social and economic activities between neighboring communities like Kweunyima and Nobekwa. This has prompted the Esutufi South District Assembly to allocate 10,000 Ghana cedis for the construction of a replacement wooden bridge, which has also collapsed, leaving the people helpless. As at now, the bridge is dangerously tilted, so it takes the courage of a daredevil to use it. A resident of Kwekunyima, Atafuseni, said apart from denying people from the community their daily pursuit, the bridge poses a threat to their lives. 3 school children nearly lost their lives when they fell from the bridge into the water and were quickly rescued by some passers-by. This may explain why some people still risk crossing the bridge on their motorcycles despite its precarious nature. A motorcyclist, Kofi Amidu, said the collapsed bridge is affecting residents in several ways, but they have no choice than to make do with what is available.
Our farm produce are getting rotten because we can't cut it to the market for sale. Our problems would be solved if a proper bridge is done.
Esutifi South District Chief Executive Robert Jumo Mensah said the cost of constructing a permanent bridge over the river is far beyond the financial strength of the District Assembly. He called for urgent intervention by the central government.
It is a problem for the Assembly because if you don't use this bridge, it means you have to go through that Yesuabe to go, so which is about 35 kilometers away. But this is just 2 kilometers away. Then you get to Kukuum to seek medical treatment, market. Teachers from Kukuum also commute from Kukuum to come and teach here.
Let's do some sports now. And the WBO Super Bantamweight champion Isaac the Royal Storm Dogbe and his challenger Hidori Otaki will be battling each other tonight at Gila River Arena in Glendale, Arizona in USA. Dogbe tipped the scales at 121 pounds as against Otaki's 121.4 pounds at Friday's weigh-in ready for the cracker. Dogbe is making the first defense of the title against the Japanese challenger Hidori Otaki. The two have predicted convincing wins with the champion confidence of another knockout victory. The fight will be live on ESPN pay-per-view and also on Rising Star Africa mobile app at www.rstvlive.com or simply Google RSAP TV to watch via mobile phone. And we wish Isaac Dogbe all the best as we rally our support behind him. But that's how we end this edition of NEWSAT10 on TV3, which is also live on DSTV channel 279. My name is Grace Hamwasari. Many thanks for joining us.